Good tidings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Landy Lodge podcast. Before we launch this episode, we have some special people we need to thank, those special people being the sages of the lodge, those who donate monthly to keep the lodge moving. If you'd like to become a sage of the lodge by donating as little as $1 a month, you can find a link in the episode description, be it whether it's on YouTube or any of the audio platforms. So, thank you to everybody, thank you to the Sages of the Lodge, and thank you for tuning in. And without further ado, let's get on with it. Sickos and normies, welcome back to the Landy Lodge podcast. It's been a little while, but things are getting quite hectic but good, IRL. But regardless of all of that chaos, we are back, and today's guest is none other than Bio Roxas. Bio, how's it going, dude?
Hey, it's going well. How you doing? Glad to be back.
Good, dude. We're happy to have you back. I'm glad to be doing this again. We're going to be primarily talking about Final Fantasy XIV. So just to
Good
gauge
game.
where you're at, how far along in like the story content are you? Like, which campaign are you up to?
I'm done. All done.
You are done. So you're through
Yes.
Shadowbringers. You're waiting on Endwalker.
No, when I hit Shadowbringers 2 months ago, I think at this point,
Wow.
2 or 3 months ago, I beat Shadowbringers in a week. Like
How many hours is that campaign?
Let me see, because I cut it all together. I think the main campaign was about 36 hours.
Wow.
The post stuff was about 16 hours.
Okay.
So it was like I'd actually just started at a new job, and because of COVID, we were working from home.
Mhm.
And so I would like finish up all my work early and like be done, and then just like jump straight into streaming more 14. Like I could not stop. Where are you at?
I am at the very end of like the second era of A Realm Reborn, which I think is 7th Astral era. So I'm at the very end, the final quest. I was hoping to be done with it and be up to Heavensward by the time we did this episode, but I fell just short. So I'm up to the before
you
the
streaming
Dawn quest. I don't stream the story quest because I feel like I have to really, because so much of it is text, right? I feel like for the story, I really need to zone in and pay attention. And I feel like if I stream the story quest, I'm going to lose something. But I do stream myself doing like duties and side quests and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I'll give you my take so far. I really have enjoyed A Realm Reborn. I've had a good time. I find the second era much better than the first era. But how big of a difference is there between Heavensward and Shadowbringers compared to A Realm Reborn?
Oh, it's like night and day. Like I really don't really don't like A Realm Reborn. I think it's good in that it sets a lot of the foundation for the story and the characters, but like no, night and day between the game.
Can I ask for specifics? Like where specifically does it feel night and day?
So just the way that your jobs change, and just like the abilities that you have and the rotations you have at the end compared to the beginning, it's just so much more involved. So for example, like Red Mage, I think at 50 is like, let me think. I think you have like your basic rotation and combo, but with Heavensward on, or no, not with Heavensward, because you get it at 60. You get more things that like kind of just are a little bit more technical and speed up the rotation a little bit.
Well, I was going to ask, combat wise, are you saying that's where a lot of the night and day stuff is? Because
the story and characters.
The story and characters. Okay.
Like I don't think I really felt much for the characters in Realm Reborn. Like I liked some of the characters, right? Like I was like, I like Thancred was probably my favorite from Realm Reborn. He was cool. But like when I tell you that like Shadowbringers had me sobbing, like literally, like I could not keep it together, and it was like I like could not go on. I was sobbing so hard.
I could see that because the further I'm getting into A Realm Reborn, the more I'm starting to really grow on these characters and have sort of attachments to them.
And it only gets deeper from there. Like it's
I'm sure
It's so good.
And I'm already seeing like the longer A Realm Reborn goes on, the more voice acted cutscenes there are as well. Do you see that trend continue?
Yeah, for sure. Shadowbringers probably has the most voice acting. I think for Endwalker, they said that it's gonna be so how all the expansions and story have worked so far is like you have the MSQ, right? Like all the main story quests, and then you have about like 5 or 6 patches of extra quests.
Gotcha.
And like up to like let's say like you finished Realm Reborn. So up to 1.3, because there's like patch 1.1, patch 1.2, patch 1.3. Up to 1.3 is about like that's where they wrap up the story of the previous expansion. And then 0.4 and 0.5 or like gearing up for the next expansion.
Okay, I see.
So typically, yeah, like right, you have like a big finish at the end of an expansion, like a quest line, and then you have like wrap up to 0.3. With Endwalker, actually, they're going to do post patches, obviously, but the actual like whole story is going to be finished with the end of Endwalker. So it's not going to be like
really. So this is really so Endwalker is really where, even though they have said they're going to continue support for this game going on, you're saying Endwalker is really where the plot's going to come to a halt. Like that's going to be the plot finale.
So
or
I can't say like so they've said
you don't
like
speak for the team.
Yeah. No, so I can't really say. Oh, you might know about it at this point. Anyway, they've said that a certain character, like this overarching plot is going to be finished up at the end of Endwalker.
Gotcha.
And then another story is going to start.
Oh, okay. Now I follow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's kind of like they said with like brackets for the Darkseeker saga.
In
Kingdom Hearts, it's kind of the same idea of like this is brackets around these. That was zombies, Call of Duty zombies. Anyways, it's kind of like how the Darkseeker saga ended with Kingdom Hearts 3, and now we're jumping into something new. It's the same idea.
Gotcha, same idea. So it's the end of a saga and the birth of a new saga.
Yep.
So speaking of Kingdom Hearts, I wanted to ask you. Obviously, I'm seeing a small trend where a lot of people who are big fans of the Kingdom Hearts series seem to be getting into Final Fantasy XIV, especially as of late. So I wanted to ask you, what do you think is appealing? What do you think Kingdom Hearts fans would find appealing about Final Fantasy XIV?
I don't know really. I think it's just a good story. There are those like themes of like light and darkness, and man, I want to like jump into all of it, but you're not there yet, so I don't want to ruin anything.
All good.
But there
Try
are
to be as
like
vague as you can about it.
Yeah, so there are like really strong themes of light and darkness as you move through. It feels a bit more mature than Kingdom Hearts, right? Because there's no Disney characters. Not that like Kingdom Hearts isn't mature, right? But like there is that like I don't even know the word for it, but there's some good, I guess, connections, right? Because a lot of Kingdom Hearts is about connections, and I really connected with a number of characters. Have you done the Crystal Tower raids yet?
I did my first one like last week.
So you met Grahatia.
Yes.
Okay, and you know the twins. Okay, those 3 are my favorite characters, and I've connected so much with them.
Oh my god, I only just met them, so I can only imagine where it goes from
here. When I first met them, I hated them. I did not like Alphino. I hated Alphino. I've come around. Bought a couple like keychains of him, and he hangs up on my wall. But
it's funny you say that, because I've had mixed feelings about Alphino myself.
Right? Well, like, he comes off very like pompous. He comes off very like just like thumbing his nose at you.
He seems very know-it-all. Know-it-all. But I do like him. I do like him. He just seems like almost like the little brother I want to smack upside the head sometimes.
Yeah. And so I think that's another thing is there's so much character growth, and you see it through all of the different characters.
Oh yeah.
And it's not like I think what I love about it is it's not like, oh, we're in a new expansion, let's let's make up some character building for this character. No, like they remember like everything they've been through and everything builds off of each other.
They're very
You said
consistent.
you've beaten November Born, right?
I beat the first era. Like I know there's one. I'm in the 7th Astral era. There's one before this.
Are those the posts? Do you what level are you?
I'm level 56.
56. Okay.
And I'm up to if I'm not mistaken, I'm up to like the final quest of A Realm Reborn.
You up to the final. Okay, so the 7th Astral era is all the post quests. So you're probably, let me see. There's only 5.3, really?
There's not a whole lot. But yeah, it's
no. Sorry, that's my bad.
The whole string of quests after the whole after Ice Heart
5
is basically where I'm at.
Oh, there's quests removed in 5. Okay, I see. Say what'd you say?
I said I'm up to the string of quests that come after you battle Ice Heart, if you remember her. I think that was her name.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole Dreams of Ice era. Just going back on what we were talking about before, I guess what I would say, at least for any Kingdom Hearts fans who are looking to get into this,
Dreams of Ice. Okay.
One thing that I think they would definitely find appealing is like, so you have the whole "my friends are my power" trope, right? And I think one of the things that's cool about 14 is, and you were kind of going into this before, more from a character level, but I guess maybe from more player level, is you really do end up making connections. You end up like making friends who are playing Final Fantasy XIV that you end up doing some quests with, some duties with, some raids with. So like if you're looking, I don't know, it's hard for me to play Final Fantasy XIV and not just imagine a Union Cross remake in this kin.
Yeah, no,
you know what I'm saying?
Like literally, let me see if I can pull a video. Literally, like when I first started, I actually did a collaboration with one of the 14 creators, Schleb, and we did like a what would Union Cross look in this way?
Oh god,
because I could not. I thought the same thing.
Dude, I can't unsee it, and I can't help but think that if Square ever did that, they'd be sitting on a mountain of cash.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think what else a Kingdom Hearts fan might find appealing.
But I mean, like the ending, right? With Realm Reborn, where you're I don't know if you want to like bleep out the words and stuff, but I'll try to be vague. But you know, the part where like you summon like all of your friends around you.
Yes.
Yeah. So like
I took so many screenshots, bro. So many
like
screenshots.
That part still, I love that song.
Yeah, I think that's the moment. I think that moment that you brought up right there, that's the moment I became hooked.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was so good. Like, I'm in it. I'm in it for the long run. And I think what's cool about it is like, even more than just a Kingdom Hearts fan, if you like Square Enix properties, this is just like one big Square Enix tribute. Whether it's by
have you
way
played
of
Final Fantasy at all? Like any of the other ones?
Like any other Final Fantasy? Like a bunch of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't. So like this was I played 7, I played 1, I played 10, 10-2. Like I played a couple of them and 15, but I've been going through Final Fantasy 4 right now. And just like the amount of theme, like music and characters and enemies that have appeared in Final Fantasy 14 that are like in these older games is crazy. So like I'm getting hit with like, right? Yeah, so I'm getting hit with like reverse nostalgia of like, oh my god, like I fought this character in 14.
Oh, it's great to see this 3D rendered dragon as a pixelated fucking.
Like, oh man, there's an enemy like all the way in Stormblood, I think that like one of the first enemies you fight in 4 appeared. Wow. It's just like, what?
It's crazy, man. And I was just gonna say, you don't just see that from like the developer perspective, but you see it in the players that are around you. Like I'm just running around, you see people naming their players after like their favorite characters. Like I've probably met 5 Shiones in Final Fantasy 14. You know what I'm saying? Like there's that everywhere.
Yeah, and that's been cool. It's kind of like seeing, like I'll have people, it's still like so bizarre, and I'm like gonna stroke my ego right now, but just people coming up and be like, are you the like Bioroxis? And I'm like, what the heck? Like that's cool. And just like, yeah, the community is just so, I love the 14 community.
It's
so
very
big.
Welcoming. It's very welcoming.
Yeah, well, some parts of it are.
So I mean, every tree has rotten
but
apples,
yeah, right. But the 14 community is so big because like with Kingdom Hearts, like it's not niche. Like it is definitely like a very, very popular series, but the online circle for it is very small, in my opinion.
Agreed.
And And so like there's something nice about like being in like a bigger community where you can find like a little pocket to just kind of hang out in. So there was something you had said something about like connections.
That's
and
like
I've
meeting
talked about this
players
on another
and stuff,
yeah, right. And so like some of my like best friends now are people that joined me on 14 content and like streams and stuff. And
there you go.
Like it's been so cool. But I think of the last podcast I was on, I like went off on that, so I won't.
You're good.
I won't launch off into my monologue about how amazing.
You're good, man. But I
just
gotta say, there are points where I play this game right now. I think I play it on PC mostly, but there are points where like one of the things I like, or here's one of the things I dislike, I suppose, is the interface can get a little bit clunky if you don't maintain it. Like there'll just be stuff everywhere. But once in a while, I'll do the command that turns the whole interface off, so all you see is the screen. And dude, I just like admire like what the world looks like. Like it's
beautiful.
It's so beautiful, and like every place you go to looks so distinctly different than the other. It's not like just a vague sandbox you get to run around in. It really. I'm
surprised you say that about Never Born. You'll love the expansions.
I honestly, it's funny. I feel like such an idiot because everyone I talk to 14 about is like basically where you're at, and I'm talking about how much I like A Realm Reborn, and they're just like, dude, you don't even know why we love this game yet.
Yeah, no, and I was the same way, right? Like I because I didn't know what to compare it to, and so that makes sense. So like, yeah, but
there's just so much
you don't know what you're getting into. It's so good.
And there's just so much to do in it too. Like I'll never forget. It's so funny. Similar to real life. I went to go buy a house and then was completely overwhelmed with how much a house was. But that's pretty cool how it kind of rewards people who play that much, because obviously you need a lot of gil to get a house in Final Fantasy XIV, and you need to be lucky enough for an open plot to pop up. I don't know how much you've looked into the residential areas or if you.
Oh, yeah, I have.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
It's sad, but like you walk into some of these homes and it's like, Jesus, I didn't know there was an Animal Crossing side quest in here. People decorating their whole homes and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, wow, there's just a whole other play circuit sitting over here on the side outside of everything else.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy how much, that there is to do in this game. Like, have you gone to the Gold Saucer at all?
Yes.
And just nuts. like there's chocobo racing and just so much to do.
Honestly, I go to the Gold Saucer in 14. I'm like, whatever the Gold Saucer is going to be in 7 Remake, it's got to be like this, or else I'm underwhelmed. Because this is like the Gold Saucer is awesome. I'm like, this is all I need in that 7 Remakes sequel is something like this.
Yeah. Oh man, I haven't even thought about 7 Remake.
And there's so many Final Fantasy VII references all over 14.
Yeah. Oh, there's a really good one in Shadowbringers that I'm not going to spoil for you, but it's really good.
God damn it. We might have to do a follow-up one when I finally get through all this, because I feel like you have all this cool stuff you want to talk about, and I'm just too far back, keeping us held back.
Oh, no, and take your time. Honestly, like that's one of the things I took my time kind of with Shadowbringers. But like when I finished, I was like, damn, like it's over. Like I wish I could experience it more, because it really it's so good.
I mean, you get a big bang for your buck out of it. Like, so they have that. Do they still offer that free trial, by the way, or is that?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Still do. Okay.
They'll probably expand it even more when Endwalker comes out.
Oh yeah, and I feel like people don't grasp how much of a free trial that is. So like, I bought the full game. Like after playing maybe 25 hours, I bought the full thing outright. But I've maybe put 125 hours into it now. And I still haven't reached the point where that free trial would technically be over.
Oh, you probably have another like 150 hours.
Right? And
like it's crazy.
So crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Are you still using their free trial?
No. I've since gotten the full Shadowbringers package. I don't know how they worded it.
Did you get the complete edition or just the normal?
The complete edition.
Oh, you did. Okay, so you got some mounts.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, we got a few things. Although I am attached to my chocobo.
Are you?
Yeah, for very obscure reasons. So I like started 14 Have you ever played Ghost of Tsushima, by the way?
No, I saw it. It looked cool.
All right, cool. So I'm not gonna give it away, but there's a character that dies at the end of Ghost of Tsushima, and I really missed them. So I named my Chocobo after them, and now I'm trying to mend that wound riding Chocobos. I don't think your neighborhood therapist would recommend this method, but it's working for me.
Yeah. Oh no. Okay, wait. Actually, I think I do know who you're talking, because like it could have been avoided, right?
No, I don't think it could be avoided. I think this character's.
Oh wait, no. I'm thinking of what's the other open world game that's like Western?
Are you thinking Red Dead Redemption?
Red Dead Redemption 2,
Okay.
I think.
Yes.
Have you played that?
I have not.
Okay, never mind then.
Never
mind then.
Have you done the Final Fantasy XV side quests yet?
Yes.
I
loved it. I have not. Okay, so I'm
Miss Noctis, man. It gave me 15
yeah, I know,
nostalgia.
right?
It gave me 15.
It really
nostalgia.
did. And I'm like, I wish that's another game I wish I would have taken my time with, and I'm going to like be like playing through that after Endwalker comes out.
Sick.
Because when I played it, I just did all the main story quests and just went through the story. And I feel like a lot of 15 is just kind of like the journey rather than the ending.
Riding around with the boys.
Yeah, and so I really didn't get much of that.
I mean, now I don't know about you, but I played 15 at launch, and apparently now, all these years later, it's like a completely different game.
Yes. So I got the gold edition or the
Royal edition.
They added a bunch of different things.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, I gotta check it out. I know that I watched the cutscenes for things like episode Ignis, episode Gladio, all that, but it would be pretty cool to experience those firsthand. Have you ridden around in the Regalia yet? Because I'm still getting through the Noctis quest. I think I've got like 2 left.
Oh, I don't think you're gonna.
What's up?
You have 200 MGP or 200,000?
I do not know.
Okay, yeah. Check your gold saucer points.
I know I have a lot, but I'll have to check.
Yeah, the Regalia is 200,000 MGP. Like I grinded for a couple months before the event came out, so I had enough.
If I gotta win a few more Chocobo races, I'll make it work.
I don't know if that'll be enough. I think that leaves.
I do have a question. Can you have passengers in the Regalia, or can only you?
Up to four.
Really? So you could just. Oh my god, dude! This is just taking up the next week of my life.
Yeah, it goes until I think it ends pretty soon too. It might have already
October
ended.
18th. I've got
okay.
myself 2 weeks.
Yeah,
got about 2 weeks to make it work. Gonna be a lot of late nights in the Landy Lodge. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I do this thing where like I'll be editing something. I'll be like, oh man, yeah, let me just like pull up 14 and do like a side quest or a dungeon, like queue up. Never works.
Nope. You get sucked right in, dude.
Get sucked right in. Well, because like I swear when I'm not editing or when I'm not doing something else, queue times take forever.
Yep.
And then when I have to, like when there's something that needs to be done, and I'm like, oh, I'll just queue this up. This is usually like 20-minute queue time. It doesn't. It just like queues in like 2 seconds, and I'm like, well,
you get that.
I guess I'll do it. Yeah, right. It feels yeah.
Oh Lord. Just trying to think of what else I wanted to bring up about 14, but I am drawing a astute blank. I will say with A Realm Reborn story-wise, I do like how, like, you have those 3 nations that are interacting, and I do like how like relatively morally ambiguous things are. That like decisions that a lot of these characters have to make. It's hard to differentiate between good, evil, selfish, and selfless sometimes. Because it's like really a nation doing something selfishly for itself is doing something selfless for its people, even if it negatively impacts the neighboring nations. I don't know. It's just that's the kind of stuff that really gets me going, at least with story stuff.
It gets really, really good. Like you're gonna love Shadowbringers. That's all I can say is you're gonna love Shadowbringers.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait so much about that game. Looks good. And I think one of the cool things is they seem to have a team that's really passionate about the work.
God,
like the fact, was it Yoshi P who literally dressed up? He cosplayed as the Reaper class.
He cosplays the Reaper. He cosplays as the Samurai when they announced that one. Did you hear about the Soken, the like musician that makes all the music
I did not.
So he was actually battling cancer during the Shadowbringers development.
What? I did not
with
know
post
that.
Shadowbringers. And so one of the songs he writes is all about like battling, like it doesn't have anything to do with the fights or anything, but the song has to deal with like battling time and like how much time we really don't have. And so like everyone, like when they announced that, like when they were talking through that during one of the live streams, like everyone was like going back to the song and like just like breaking down because of like how like you could just see like his inner thoughts.
That's so real, man. I love it when the fiction can see the real. That is
and really like Yoshi P like keeps up with he even he plays the game, like he's an actual, like he plays Black Mage. He's actually
speaking of playing the game. Speaking of playing the game, if I'm understanding this correctly, you're telling me this man beats cancer, has a battle with cancer, wins, thereby defies the Grim Reaper, and then just drags that Grim Reaper and puts him in the game.
Different person. So Yoshi P is the producer developer. Soken is the musician, like the person that does a lot of the music.
Okay, so I got it mixed up. Jesus, I thought Soken was the class. Oh my God.
Sorry.
Completely. Okay, can you tell I wasn't the best student? Anyway.
No. But yeah, and like Yoshi P like keeps us updated on like, so like the servers, if you didn't know, have been like melting pretty much with just the influx of traffic.
I mean, when you offer people 150 hours of gameplay for free, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, right. So like anyway, so like he's been keeping people updated with that, and
well, that and all his
making like announcements too. Yeah, right. And making announcements, and like he just keeps up with the player base, and I think that's what really,
well, it goes a long way. It does. You know,
like there was
corporations are I was just gonna say corporations are faceless, so it's like it's hard for you to convince yourself that Square Enix cares about you and your experience, but it's easy to convince yourself that a guy like Yoshi P cares about you and your experience, you know.
And I really think that like he does care. Like there was one like tiny thing that they didn't have to like even address, but like people were getting do you know what trichtophilia is? Or
say the name again.
Trichtophobia. It's like open. It's a. Let me see. Trichtophobia.
Oh, pull that shit up.
I don't know if you want to look it up, but it's like the closely. It's the like the holes and stuff.
An aversion to the sight of irregular patterns or clusters of small holes or bumps.
Yeah. And so like the job icon for the new class was like triggering a lot of people's trichtophobia. So they went in and like actually like changed it and made an announcement like apologizing for it. Like they didn't have to do that. Like they didn't have to like even address it or anything, but like the fact that they saw an issue that was like popping up in the community and they would like wanted to address it and help it.
Especially since like, let's just like, again, it doesn't downplay or diminish it at all, but like your average bear doesn't have tryptophobia. It's probably a very, 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 very small percentage of players that were experiencing this problem, and they went out of their way to fix it for them anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's pretty sweet, man.
Yeah. So like, I don't know.
Well, let's hop off 14 for a second here. There are some other rumblings in the Final Fantasy series. How are you? You could jump into either one that you want. How are you feeling about 16 and Strangers of Paradise, or Stranger of Paradise? I think it is. I don't know if it's plural.
Stranger of Paradise. I'm so happy that that's coming to PS4. I really wanted to play that. And seeing that I'm gonna actually be, because I haven't bought a PS5 yet, because I think I'm gonna wait till we get an announcement of release date for 16, and then start maybe saving up for it.
I think it's so easy to say this. I think you even actually made a funny video about this concept. I thought we might see 16 at EGS, and now I'm like, well, it's coming to the Game Awards.
Yeah, which I mean, I mostly that was poking fun of a lot of like people that do that maliciously, because obviously like I'm the same way, right? Like if like I don't hear something at an event, I'm like, oh man, like I really hope the next one happens. That meme or shitpost was more so like towards people that like maliciously do that when they know that something's coming up, or like like, oh, I heard from this person, because like the amount of times where like I would talk to a creator, and especially like when I was first growing, and they would like try to like wow me with like, oh, I had this insider information, or like, oh, like I heard from this person, was just so crazy. Because like now that I'm like at like, not like I'm not at a high level, but I'm pretty well connected with Square Enix and their teams. I'm just like, wow, yeah, that was all bullshit. Like, like there's no one that's like reaching out and like has all this insider information, because if they did, like they would get fired.
Yep. There's no, you wouldn't be able to let that kind of stuff like get out.
It's and it's crazy because like I know when I wasn't a creator or like an influencer, like I was like, oh my god, like these YouTubers are like so well connected and they know so much, and like it's like really, you really don't like it's
nope. It's just schmucks like me, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, really, it's just people that are passionate about games that happen to have access to editing software. Like that's it. Like there's no like special like super, I don't know, like, you know,
we didn't get the YouTube gene. We don't have like the YouTube gene or anything.
Yeah, and I try so hard to like make that known, because I know so many people that are like, oh well, I couldn't do streaming, I couldn't do YouTube, like I don't have what those other people have. And it's like it's all like just like people are just trying to put up like an entertainment front because that's what you need to do.
Yeah,
but behind that, like we're all just people. Like there's no, I don't know.
Exactly.
And maybe like on like super higher levels, obviously, like the incredible like 1% of streamers and YouTubers, like they probably have inside access and information, obviously. But for like a lot of people, like there's nothing.
No, at the end of the day, you said it best. We're just people who are passionate about video games that have access to editing software. And like so much, and like very few of us, I mean, there's a lot of people out there whose editing is just like a work of art and it's beautiful.
God. Shout out to freaking Mel with Secret Reports.
Yeah, Secret Report, great example. God. It's so funny. Every time we get into this on this podcast, she's like the first name that gets brought up, and rightfully so. Is,
like, well, because it's not even just the writing and the editing, but like she's an artist, and like I feel like it's a presentation.
It feels like a real presentation.
Yeah, for sure. And like it's not often that you see an artist do content creation. A lot of times people will have to like, you know, commission other people for their assets and all that stuff. But like I wish I was an artist, because you could just do so much. Like you could just take a blank canvas and just like create out of nothing. It's so cool. I love it.
No, that's the role of the artist. Take nothing and turn it into something.
Right. I love it.
But there's your I guess your bi-monthly shout out for Secret Reports on this podcast. If you haven't checked her out yet, please do. But yeah, man, no, it's like it's easy to put YouTube creators on a pedestal, and I feel like until you've dipped your toe in the water, you kind of don't see it any other way.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, and that's why, you know, going back to being skeptical about like when a YouTuber tells you something, I see a lot of noise being made over this like forum post where someone's like, I work for Disney, and Nintendo requested 5 songs 2 months ago. And it's like, look, nobody wants Sora and Smash more than me, but like it's a forum post, people. Like don't sink your teeth into that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I really do.
No, yeah, and like, and that's the thing, right? Is if it's right, people will be like, "Oh my god, they were right," and it's like they could still be like pulling stuff out of their ass.
It
like,
could have still been a guess.
Yeah, because
like what was it? 10 years of someone go, "I know Banjo's coming to Smash," okay? And it's like, okay, yeah. After 10 years, you finally got it.
I think I was listening to the. Can I talk about another podcast on your podcast? Is that okay?
Why wouldn't you be able to?
I just want to make sure. Like, you're good. So the Answer Report podcast. I don't know if you've heard of them,
dude. Those dudes. Those are good dudes, man.
And so they said something. They said the saying like a broken clock is right twice a day or something.
Yep.
And so like if you constantly say stuff and throw stuff out there, right? Like obviously something's gonna stick. And I think for a lot of YouTubers and like, you know, forum posts and people making speculation, right? Like if you throw a wide net, like you're gonna catch a fish or two. Like, but to like capitalize off of that and be like, oh, this is like I'm always right, or I always like I'm the master predictions.
I have the inside info.
Yeah.
No, I feel you on that. But who do you think, if you had to guess a final Smash character, what is your gut tell you?
I really don't like Smash. So
well, excuse me for bringing it up.
no, sorry, not like that. Like I played it, and me and my wife actually played Ultimate a lot when it first came out, and that was really fun. But just like I don't hate Smash. That came out wrong. I just like am really not connected with any of it. Past like it's a party game that I play for 10 minutes and then I'm good for the next 6 months.
Well, it's like I was making a joke earlier today. I was like, yeah, man, would love for Sora to get announced for Smash so I could addictively play it for 2 weeks and then put it back down.
Yeah, I think yeah, right.
That's
like
exactly what happened with Sephiroth. I was like,
yeah,
I've waited my whole life for this, and then like 2 weeks, I'm like, yeah, it was fun.
Right? Yeah, I played it like once or twice, and I was like, cool, okay, I'll wait for the next one.
Sweet moveset. Moving on.
But I mean, I would think it'd be cool to see Sora, but
all right, let me take it one step further then.
Oh yeah.
Do you think we ever get that Kingdom Hearts fighting game?
No. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Maybe like I mean they did just branch out into a rhythm game. Personally, I just think that the mentality in fighting games has always been a little toxic, and so like
because it's so hyper competitive.
Yeah, well, in the Kingdom Hearts, a lot of like bigger influencers are really into fighting games. And I just feel like that would just be a not good thing.
Oh, you don't see a happy clash of the fighter game community and Kingdom Hearts community happening
ever. That would no.
See, this is the part where
because I can already see the discourse, right, of like, oh wow, like freaking stupid Disney characters playing in a Kingdom Hearts fighter, like this is just a game for babies, and then the Kingdom Hearts community be like, well, it's like I hit you, like let's go attack you. I can already see it.
See, like, this is the part, Bio, where like 10 years from now when it happens, I make a clip that shows the last 30 seconds, and then we cut to all the online discourse while the Curb music plays in the background.
Yep, because it's gonna happen.
I don't know though. I'm low key hoping for it just because I love fighting games, especially like weapons fighters.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, dude! Like if you had like a Kingdom Hearts Soul Calibur style 3D fighter, I'd lose my mind, man.
Yeah, I played. See, the only fighters I played were like the Dragon Ball Z and Naruto ones. You know, it's talking about like Budokai Tenkaichi.
My fiance just bought like an old Naruto fighting game on the GameCube. And she's like, we have to play this.
I like those. It's like, if it was something like that, I think it'd be fun because those are more like arcadey fighting games.
Yeah, no, the arcade.
But like the technical aspect, I feel like I just feel like if it's like a super technical fighting game, it's just not gonna.
You don't see it working out?
Not gonna. Well, it would probably work out. It just like would just breed even more toxicity.
Yeah, it'd be nice to move in the opposite direction of that. But I gotta say, I really look forward to Kingdom Hearts 4 coming out and then the Kingdom Hearts 3 nostalgia kicking in.
Yeah, I think that it'll be interesting to see what people are feeling when 4 comes out.
Do you think we get a game in between? Like, do you think Melody of Memory was that in between game?
I really don't know. I don't. Let me think. I could see like, so my idea would be Kingdom Hearts 3, Melody of Memory, BBS 2, and then Kingdom Hearts 4, and BBS 2 being the like following the BBS trio through the Dark World,
the realm of darkness, and what they see in there.
Or that could be another like tech demo thing. Who knows? But I don't see like a. Yeah, I don't know. That would be my idea.
I saw somebody put up like a mock-up interface of like the next Kingdom Hearts game would have a bunch of like mini like 5-hour campaigns for different characters or different trios. I saw someone put up like a mock-up interface for that. So like you have like your little like, you had that like Kyrie Aqua training quick like 5-hour arc, and then you move on to like Mickey's arc in Scala, and then you move on to like what's going on in Twilight Town. Because I feel like at the end of Melody of Memory and like Remind, where they kind of let you know where everybody's at, it's like, oh, there's a lot of moving parts right now. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's so much to I don't know. I wonder if that's so much as to like show like, hey, like here's everyone's ending, right? Like this is where they're at, and then like kind of tying up all those loose ends where you know what's happening with them, and then moving back to focus on Sora, Riku, and Kairi. Like, because even like at the end of Melody Memory, right? Like, I think it'd be cool to have a BBS too, but like Kairi says, like, oh, I'm gonna go train with Aqua, meaning that she's back, or she's going to be back, right?
Right.
So I think because like right, everyone left and everyone was dispersing to find Sora. So now that they have like all those stories and lines have kind of like circled back to just Sora.
That's a good point. I do think the series desperately needs to bring the Destiny trio together.
They do. They really do.
Yeah, because now that literally every trio is back but them, which I guess is the point, you know, it creates a sense of longing, a sense of wanting. It's something that we want.
All right, because and I heard this. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Dude. I heard this. I think it was an interview or something for Friends of all things.
Interesting.
But the writer said, and I'm paraphrasing heavily, but maybe it was Seinfeld. Anyways, he said, if there's progression, right? If there's growth of the characters, that's not a show anymore. And if the Destiny trio ever gets back and gets their happy ending on the island, there's not a story anymore unless they break them apart again, right? And so like there's always that constant, like someone's always missing. There's always going to be a search for somebody.
Do you think so? Because I won't lie, my dream, like my quote unquote dream Kingdom Hearts game, is to have Sora, Riku, and Kairi in one party where you can alternate between the three of them like you could in Remake. Now that's asking for a lot, and I don't expect to ever
that would be cool. I would like that too.
But that's a good point, because if you ever had the three of them together, like the whole story, and Sora kind of said something like this at the end of 3. He was like, my whole journey started the day I lost her. If you did have the three of them together again, there would be, like you said, no story. The story kind of concludes in that fashion.
Which I feel like that's what it should have been for Kingdom Hearts 3, right? And then we could have jumped off into another kind of story, a journey.
Yeah, but I guess we had to learn that Xehanort was a pawn, and that this whole wild ride isn't even close to over yet.
Yeah. Well, and I think, right, because like if what was I gonna say? I feel like they would have lost a lot of people if they had concluded Sora's story.
Yeah, I thought about that too, that a lot of people would have been like, okay, this is my ending. I'm going to walk away. I've stuck with this for so long. This is the happy ending I wanted.
Yeah.
I kind of feel that way too. Because I'm not going to lie, like I'll never forget being in my apartment. Like, oh my God, it's going to be 3 years in January. Finishing that game, I was like by myself. It was like 2 a.m. And I remember thinking like, they're all on the island, they're all safe. And then once Sora fucking Thanos out of there, I just like paced around my apartment, and I was like, I absolutely loved what I experienced, but I feel empty.
Yeah,
I need more. I want them back. It created that sense of longing of like, I got to do something about this. I had this urge to want to conclude, to want to further. It was. I'll never forget feeling that way. It was a good feeling, I would say. But I remember just pacing around my apartment, like just scratching my chin, like, what are we gonna do from here?
Yeah. No. That was that was amazing ending. Well, not amazing ending. It was a. It's not stressful or fresh. It was frustrating, kind of.
It was a lot,
but not things. Not like a mad frustrating. It's just like, it is hard to like kind of encapsulate what that.
Let's just call it what it is. It was a little bit of blue balls.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's what we're looking for. All right. So blue balls aside, we are coming up on time a little bit. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about? Was there anything else you wanted to say 14 related or anything related? It doesn't have to be 14, but while we're wrapping up, was there anything else you wanted to touch on?
Let me think. No, I still like Kingdom Hearts. I do like to always say that, like, right, like I think just I spent 3 years, I think, at this point, like with the build up to Kingdom Hearts 3, and then because I made so much content leading up to it. It wasn't until Kingdom Hearts 3 released, and that's one thing I'll say, if people are creators or are looking to do creation, start before the game comes out, because I see so many people that are like, oh, like I wanted to, you know, I jumped on it right when it came out and I'm still not getting any traction. It's like, of course you're not getting any traction, because like all the people that are already established have like the upper hand in terms of like releasing content, right? And so like you have to start early, and start like gaining even like a little bit of traction.
You got to be the first to arrive and the best dressed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So but yeah, no, I still love Kingdom Hearts. I just like, I did breakdowns and like consistently like 3 or 4 videos a week for like 3 years. And that really burns you out. And so like when I found 14 and like that same spark of like, this is what it felt like leading up to Kingdom Hearts 3, and like this is what it felt like to play Kingdom Hearts 3 and make all this content on it. Like I feel the same way about 14. And so I really don't want to like stifle that, just because like 14 content doesn't do well for me. Like, because I have to build that audience, right? But like I love it, and I want to see it do better on the channel.
And I think that's what it comes down to too. And that's one thing that I would say is admirable about you, is if you're going to do this, make the stuff you love. Even if you have stuff that like gets traction, you don't want to feel like you never want to feel like you're doing this because you have to, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you want to, like you said, you've fallen in love with Final Fantasy XIV. So all the love wants to go into that content. So like wherever the love is, that's what should direct your content. That's not to say that you don't love Kingdom Hearts, right? But you gave Kingdom Hearts a lot of love. Maybe there's room for something else.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
But
Yep.
I guess we can wrap it up there. Is there anything you got going on or anything coming up you want people to know about?
I'm doing a lot of horror streams for October. That's fun. I'm excited for that. That's another thing, is like I love horror.
Really?
I love it. I love I know that the the writer is a little not great, but I love like Lovecraftian stuff. I just love the monsters and the story of that.
Okay.
Not so much like the, you know, how do I put that? Like not so much the person or some of the themes that we're talking about, but I do like the characters.
I gotcha.
Not the characters, the
thrill. Is that it?
Yeah, like the horror aspect of it.
The thrill. I got you.
So
I got you. Well, that's cool, man. Keeping it seasonal, keeping it in the Halloween spirit. October is young, so you got a whole month ahead of you with that kind of stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, I do thank you again for tuning in. If you would please give BioRoxas a follow. I will drop his links to his YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch below. Please give him a follow. Bio, dude, thank you so much for coming on. I always appreciate having you in here, dude.
Yeah, of course.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, until next time.